Everyone got an invite to my brother's graduation dinner, except me. My dad said, "We didn't think you'd want to come, since you barely finished school yourself." I just smiled and said, "Then don't worry about my ceremony next month." 2 weeks later, my cousin posted a selfie, standing under a banner with my face on it. That's when the calls started. The banner read, "Congratulations, Dr. Emma Mitchell, summa cum laude." My cousin's smile was genuine as she stood proudly beneath my graduation photo, while my phone exploded with notifications. Family members who had written me off years ago were suddenly desperate to understand what they'd missed. I stared at my phone as the calls and texts poured in, my hands trembling slightly. After years of being the family disappointment, the black sheep who supposedly barely finished school, I'd secretly completed medical school at the top of my class. No one in my immediate family knew. Not my parents, not my golden boy brother Jake, whose business school graduation dinner I'd been excluded from. The only person I'd told was my cousin Megan, who had always believed in me even when no one else did. It all started when I was 16. My family had always valued academic success above all else. My father was a respected professor, my mother an accomplished engineer, and Jake was the perfect student. Straight A's, debate team captain, accepted to all the prestigious universities he applied to. Then there was me. I struggled with undiagnosed ADHD, making traditional classroom learning a nightmare. My report cards were a mix of C's and D's, with the occasional B when a teacher's style happened to match my learning needs. Every family dinner became an interrogation about my latest disappointment. "Why can't you just apply yourself like your brother?" my mother would ask, while my father shook his head in silent judgment. Jake would sit there looking uncomfortable but never defended me. The constant comparisons and criticism crushed my spirit until I stopped trying altogether. By senior year, I was barely passing my classes. When graduation time came, there was a celebration for Jake, a lavish party with extended family, friends, and colleagues of my parents. For me, there was a tense dinner at home where my father lectured me about finally pulling myself together now that high school was behind me. My graduation gift was a pamphlet for the local community college's administrative assistant program, because according to him, we have to be realistic about your capabilities, Emma. I moved out the next day, taking only what could fit in my beaten-up Honda Civic. My parents seemed almost relieved to see me go. Jake called once to ask where I was staying, but the conversation was brief and awkward. I found a tiny studio apartment and took a job as a receptionist at a medical clinic to pay the bills. I visited my family for holidays, enduring the pitying looks and pointed questions about when I would get serious about my future. What my family didn't know was that working at the clinic had sparked something in me. I found the medical field fascinating, and several doctors noticed my natural aptitude for understanding complex cases. One physician in particular, Dr. Ramirez, took me under her wing. She recognized my symptoms of ADHD immediately and helped me get properly diagnosed and treated. Suddenly, learning became possible in a way it never had been before. "You have a brilliant mind, Emma," Dr. Ramirez told me. "You just needed the right tools to access it." With her encouragement, I enrolled in night classes at the community college. For the first time in my life, I experienced academic success. My grades were stellar, and I discovered that with proper support for my ADHD, I not only could learn, I could excel. I transferred to a 4-year university, completed my undergraduate degree with honors, and was accepted to medical school. Throughout this journey, I maintained minimal contact with my family. Holiday visits became phone calls and text messages. They never asked about my education, assuming I was still working as a receptionist. The few times I tried to mention my classes, my father would change the subject, and my mother would look uncomfortable. Jake was too busy with his own success to notice mine. Only Megan, my cousin on my mother's side, knew the truth. She had always been kind to me, and when I told her about medical school, she became my cheerleader.